Christ the Servant Lutheran Church, a vision for our future, to be rooted and growing. We want to be rooted and growing in God's mission for the church, to love God, others, and the world, up, in, and out. That was Jesus' way of life. God's mission for Christ the Servant is for us to be a spiritual family on a mission to encounter God, love one another, and reach the world like Jesus. We also want to be rooted and growing in God's vision for the church, to transform the world by making disciples who would love like Jesus in all of life, from the cradle to the cross. We see God's vision for Christ the Servant is for us to make disciples who are equipped and sent to lead a world-transforming movement by putting Jesus' way of life into practice. We do this by imitating 5 practices Jesus modeled for us. This is how we put his up, in, out way of life into practice. Through radical hospitality, we welcome others as Christ welcomes us. Through passionate worship, we wholeheartedly encounter God's presence and power. Through intentional faith development, we learn to be and become like Jesus. Through risk-taking mission and service, we reach out to bring the world back to God. And through extravagant generosity, we go all in to put God first. By being rooted and growing in God's mission and vision for us in this way, we desire to bear fruit for God's kingdom. This fruit, our desired outcome, is to develop a spiritual, relational, and organizational foundation for Christ the Servant to thrive for generations to come. And to develop a spiritual foundation, we'll need to establish a culture of discipleship, develop leaders, and empower everyone for ministry and daily life, with an emphasis on our youth and young adults. To develop a relational foundation, we'll focus on seeing lives transformed and becoming trusted in our community as a center for spiritual renewal, healthy relationships, and loving service. Finally, to develop an organizational foundation, we'll need to implement adaptive, innovative, and relevant ministry methods and structures to mobilize the church to achieve our mission. And we seek to be rooted and growing in God's mission for us, to encounter God, love one another, and reach the world like Jesus, as well as God's vision to make disciples, so that Christ the Servant Lutheran Church may thrive as a healthy and fruitful, multicultural and multi-generational spiritual family for generations to come.